So I just started the recording. Okay. So for this one, so I have created one purchase order, so which I'll show. So basically for this written edge release, so unless I have this complex PO in place, so I'll not be able to basically release this. Means that I have a separate type called the written edge release in payment screen, I mean the invoice screen, but then that would be the completely the manual process that I will have to do. Okay, so here it is against the purchase order. So usually it is tracked against the purchase order. Okay. So before that, the reason why or what is the business scenario that we will need this particular transaction called read and edge release is that. So especially in terms of projects or the construction business, if I'm running it, so probably I'll not have this immediate payment or this thing. So instead, I will have to give based on the milestone. So for this milestone, so let's say I have, in this case, what I have done is that, so I have split it into two parts. So one is that 40% as an immediate payment and the rest 60% as an retainage release. But then this can be split into advance 20% and then the milestone 130, 40. So similarly, so we can bring those combination. Okay, so for now, what I'm doing is set up in the system. Now here in the procurement side, so we also have this work confirmation. Okay. So basically what is work confirmation is that, so it is to make sure that this particular milestone is created or this particular milestone is reached by the vendor. Okay. So that's just the confirmation, but that is optional. So if I don't want this work confirmation, so I will not need this particular option to be given. Okay. Show where we will create this and also how we will enable this work confirmation also. So work confirmation is basically just the additional feature that we can make use of it. Okay, so I'll just go to procurement. Okay, so and again, so here I can create this as an requisition, and based on the requisition, so if I want to basically create the request for quotation, and then from there if I want to create the purchase order, so that is also possible. But in this case I did not create RFQ and all those things, so I directly created this purchase order, so with this amount, the retainage amount. Okay. Okay, so this is the purchase order that I created in the system. Okay, so I'll just show where I have given this option. Okay. So here if you see, so this is what I was saying, the work confirmation or the confirming order is nothing but the work confirmation basically. So in the procurement work list, so we have this option, so wherein I can make sure that this work that is being completed. Okay, so now where I'll keep this retainage percentages here. So if I go to schedule and if I see more details, so here I will be able to identify or I'll be able to see the percentage. So here if you see, so as I said, 40% is the immediate amount that I'm releasing and I'm retaining 60% of the amount. So this is the understanding. So now the flow will go something like this. So I will have purchase order created and then I'll match this purchase order and then I'll create the invoice, and then for this 40% I'll basically create the payment. Okay, so now the first set of activities is done. So now the remaining work is also getting completed. So now I will have to release the balance amount, because here I have said that I will release the 60% once this work is done. So now uh, assuming that this work is done, so I will have to either receive the item, or if I am doing this two-way matching, so I will basically match this purchase order again and I'll do the release. Okay. So this is what we are doing right now. So I'll just say done and I'll go to the payable work area and we'll try to match this purchase order and we'll create one invoice. Okay, so here I'll just have to input the purchase order number. Yeah, so this is the one that we used, advanced card. Okay, I'm not sure about the amount, so I'll just give the random one and probably I'll come back and then I'll change this amount. So this matching is the regular matching that we will do it. Okay, so here, so since this is matching, so I'll not have the quantity and the unit price. So it is only the amount that I will have basically. Okay, so I'll just say okay. Okay. So here I can enable this checkbox if required. So for now, what I'll do is that
So it is a prepayment.
I'll
You're matching a prepayment with a PO now.
every payment in the sense you are saying the returnage
No,
or
no,
I mean
no,
the
no.
standard invoice that we are raising.
Right now you're doing, you're matching the PO with the prepayment, right? It's an advance payment. Is that you're doing now?
No, now I'm not doing this advanced thing because here if you see, so what I'm doing is that so I'm saying this is in immediate basis. So advance meaning I will have to set it up this saying in the purchase order. So 20% is advance. So advance meaning it is the same way that we are doing it, but I did not specify this as an advance. But this has to be set in the payment terms that we are defining. But the payment term that I am using is the standard one, that is net 30 is the payment term that I'm using. But then if I want to have it as an advance or something, so for the line one, I'll have to say this is immediate and this will be considered as an advance. But here, if you see, so I did not specify this as an advance. So I'm just saying this is limit. But then the amount for this will be paid on this particular date, that is after 30 days. Okay. If I want to give this as an advance, then I'll have to make sure this payment term is immediate.
Okay. No, when you say advance, I thought it is like a prepayment even before we create a requisition or anything. We create a prepayment, and then once you get a PO, you match it with your prepayment because you already paid your vendor. I was thinking like that. Okay, got it.
Yeah. Because this, if you see, so this we are tracking against the standard invoice. Because if I say prepayment, that means that I'll have to create the standard invoice and then I'll have to make sure that the balance or the advance that I have given to the vendor is closed. But then if I say retainage release, then that would be different type of invoice. So I'll not able to close that prepayment. So for that reason, I'm selecting this as an standard invoice.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I have just matched this. Yeah, I think I'll have to change him. Okay, I'll just try to validate. Just change the amount because I'm not sure about the amount, so I just gave it as a 10,000. So the actual amount is 1,03,000. So it is the 1 lakh is the actual amount. So the 3,000 is nothing but this one, the taxation. Okay.
Arun, here the
Yeah.
denominator and the comma separator, right? So just like
Yeah.
R12 annual infusion, it's controlled by um, profile option or how country-based profile option or how the comma
Yeah.
separator for the amount and
Yeah,
the
so for
denominator.
this, yeah. So you're saying about this one. So if it is US, so we'll have it in million. So and for India terms, so we'll have this as in 1,03,000.
Okay,
That is what it
that
is,
is,
right?
yeah. So it is controlled
Yeah.
by a
So
profile option
here,
or
yeah,
uh,
yeah, profile option. So we have this profile option. So I forgot exactly the profile option name, but
but
we
that's
have
okay. I
something
just
called
wanted to know.
invoice. I mean,
Okay.
I forgot the exact name, but we have
Mm.
profile option to change this basically.
Oh, okay. At the currency level, we do. I think in Atola,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
country level. I don't remember properly. Okay, fine.
Yeah, so let me try
What
to
is that?
upload this.
What is that here?
Yeah,
It says net of retainage. There is a checkbox, right?
yeah, net of retainage is nothing but if I want to basically set this as, let's say I have a scenario so wherein I have multiple lines, and then if I want to basically release it based on this, so I'll have to enable this checkbox called net of retainage. Or to put it in different terms, how do we explain?
So for the same supplier, we have multiple POs. For one of the invoice line, we match it with the complex PO. Is that the scenario?
Yeah, correct. For the multiple line scenario.
Got it.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll just check if approval is required. Okay, I'll try to approve it manually. Okay, so that's what the amount is 1 lakh, and 60,000 is the retainage amount. Okay,
Mm.
so the standard accounting entry. So yeah, so the first set of
What is
transaction
it?
is done. Yeah,
Okay, go ahead, go ahead.
okay. Yeah, so the first set of transaction is done. So that is matching the purchase order, and then we are creating this particular invoice. After this, again, we'll have to make the payment. So this is the payment is the initial part. So probably we'll cover the payment part after this section. Okay, so now I'm not creating the payment. So I'll do this release. Okay. So in this case, it will be only one release, but if I have multiple lines or if I have multiple releases that has to be made, so that would be release 1, 2, or 3, but the process is still the same. So I'll have to just select this as retainage release, and I'll have to make the releases. Okay. Okay. So, so this is the purchase order, and here, if you see, okay, I'll just give this number, and here. Okay, I think I did not change this. So here, if you see, so I have this option called release by PO schedule or release by invoice lines. So let's say I have 2 or 3 lines. So if I want to release based on this invoice lines, if this is matching with my purchase order lines, so then I can match it by the invoice lines. Or if I want to go by the PO schedule. So PO schedule meaning, so I might have schedule 1, 2, 3. So that is the release 30%, release 40%, so something like this. So now if I'm going by PO schedule, so I can click this option, or by invoice lines, I can say this one. Okay, because there, if you see the previous invoice, so we had only one line, so this option will not be applicable. But then if I have multiple lines inside this invoice, and then if I want to go by invoice lines, line 1, line 2, so that's the option. So for now I'm clicking this option, and I'll say match. So now I'll be able to release this amount. Okay, so we can see the uh, remaining release amount, so that is 60,000. So just for this thing I gave as 1 rupee at the header level, so that's the amount that we are seeing here. So I'll
Uh,
change this. Yeah,
Arun, I just am wondering why in the complex PO instead of having all this retainage releases, why can't we manage all this with the payment term itself, right? So for that particular
correct.
customer, I release them. I in the payment term I can say okay, in first month you do this, in second month you do this, or after 6 months you do this. Can't we actually do that with the payment terms instead of we having all this done?
Yeah, I
Why
mean that. Yeah,
why is that we have to use this retainage functionality?
yeah, difference is that, so if I'm using this payment time, so let's say in the payment time I give this as an for the line number one. So I'm saying this is, let's say I wanted to release it immediately. But in this case, I'll say the days is zero, and then for the next payment, let's say it is 10 days or something like this. So I can do this. So I can set it up the same thing. But here the only addition option that we have it here in terms of retainage release is that, so we can make sure that the work is completed. But there in the payment terms, if you see, so I will know only based on the discussion that I had initially. So I will be able to basically say that in this particular time frame, so this activity will be completed. So based on that assumption, so I'll have to release the payment. But then there could be a possibility that the work might have completed or might not have completed. So what will make sure this activity is that this work confirmation is what makes sure that this work is completed, and based on this confirmation, so I'm releasing this the release one, two, or three. So that's the difference. So if we want to go for the first option, that is with the payment term, so that is also possible. But then if I want to get it checked if the work is actually completed, so then that is when we'll go for this retainage release.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'll just change this amount. Okay, so I'll just say release with this line. Okay. So the rest are the same process. Okay. So since we are releasing it entirely, so the release
There is no
balance
tax
will,
calculated.
yeah, tax will be calculated. So after we say validate or calculate tax, so this will be calculated. I'll just say validate. Lines are there.
Is it looking for a code combination?
Yeah, I mean, even the code combination is there because it says that this invoice doesn't have lines, but then I have the lines also, I have the distribution, line variance. And this also I'm having it as same. I think, yeah, yeah, correct, the tax amount. So usually it will be more than this one, the with the tax, but then in the purchase order, so I did not calculate the tax because the tax point is set it up as invoice. Okay, so that's why we are releasing this one. So this is since we have this tolerance, so we are able to release more than the purchase order. So else we'll have this warning saying we are overspending basically.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So I'll just do the approval, force approve, save, and then account is. Yeah. So this is the accounting entry for this one. So that is retainage to the liability. So these are the tax items. Okay. Yeah. So that's all I have on the retainage. So if we are good, so we can go to the payment part.
Yeah, yeah, let's go.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. So firstly, I'll just explain what are the options that we have. So in terms of uh, the payment file generation and these things. So, okay, so the way that usually the traditional system works is that so we will have basically the designed format or the format that is given by the bank. So let's take the US scenario. So probably the is the bank or the Citibank is the bank. So I will have such a format that is given by the bank. So now what I will do is that so I will prepare this as a template. Okay. So this RTF template, so which I'll create here. So we have something called format. So using this option, so I will attach this, and when I create this payment, so this is the file that system will generate, and this file will be sent to the bank folder or the shared SFTP path that where we will share the files. Okay, so bank is going to pick this file, and bank is going to process this file and return us with the immediate transaction reference, or probably the statement will have this update. So which might have the same path or which might have the different path, but then from that particular path, so we will import the bank statement and this thing, and from there we'll do the reconciliation, all those things. Okay. So this is the regular thing that we have. So now here in the Fusion application, so what we have is that, so apart from the traditional SFTP path that we have it in the system, so we also have this API based payments. So this, I'm not sure for the other country scenario. So I worked for one of the Indian companies, so wherein we did this API based integration. So now when we say API based integration, so bank is giving us the API, one thing. Okay. So in terms of Fusion application, so it is not entirely the API development that we are doing. So partially we are also using the schedule, because what will happen is that so we have this data template, so which we are preparing. So based on this, so we are sending this data to this particular table, and from there basically schedule runs, and this schedule will be picked by this API. So API is basically the immediate response file. So now this data has been picked up, and this information is passed to the bank, the external bank or the bank of the customer. Okay. So now based on this linking factor, so then bank says that this is the response. So again, we are getting this response, and we are storing the response, whatever we got from the bank in the DFF column. Okay. So this is what we are doing in terms of the payment file and the communication. So apart from this, so we also have the standard route. So that is the traditional SFTP route. Okay. So we have this transmission configuration. So this transmission configuration so will not require OIC, because this is handled inside Oracle. So if I say this is the path that I wanted to place the file, So automatically Oracle, so we have something called UCM, Universal Content Manager. So what this will do is that, so this will basically pick the file from here and place it there. Okay. So this is standard one. So now this is based on the transmission configuration. Okay. So this is one
So,
part.
so you
And the
mean
second
so
part, yeah,
so you mean to say when there is a payment file is generated from a payment system, uh,
right.
it will be placed in UCM. So all I have to see is there is a from my UCM, there is a connection within the bank file, so that bank system, so
Correct.
that it picks up the payment file.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, okay. Mhm.
Okay. So this is one part of the transaction, and the second part building the formats. So now this formats will be built in into this BI publisher. So this BI publisher is basically used in terms of reports and analytics, or yeah, reports and analytics I can say, because this will have basically the transactions and the reports and the analysis. So when we say analysis, it is the OTBI report that we are saying. Okay. So here also I can build this formats, and after building the formats there in the BI publisher, so I'll have to come to the screen the payment formats, and we'll have to attach it. So in terms of the standard configuration for the payments that we have it in Oracle, so we do not have much changes to this, because this is the same validation that we'll have. So let's say I wanted to validate based on the IFSC number, or basically based on the IBAN number. So I can do this validation based on the payment method and all those things. Okay, so I'll just first open this one, that is payment method. First thing is that I
Your voice is breaking, Arun.
okay. Now,
Hmm. Yeah, it's better, but still, as and when you talk, sometimes it breaks down. Are you talking now? I'm not able to hear you.
talking, I'm not sure. I mean, my internet is a bit slow. I think my network is bit,
Mm-hmm.
because the range is also a bit low.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm,
Uh,
it's better. Mm.
okay. Maybe I'll continue. So let me know if you still hear it with this thing. So I'll just
Yeah,
repeat it again.
sure, sure.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
um, Arun,
Yeah.
usually we will have, how do we set up this thing? Is it is it with the BU we set the payment system? How does it work? It works against the operating unit or against the ledger? How does it is in Fusion? I mean, against the business unit, or how does it in Fusion?
The payments part.
Hmm.
So if you are talking about the single payment, so single payment will work at the business unit, but the batch still runs as global. So it's not only linked with the business unit basically. So
No, no,
it's based
bank.
on the
Yeah, bank. It is at the legal entity level, right? That will be the owner of bank,
correct,
right? Yeah. So,
correct.
but the payments that when I pick up, so that's the payment module or offering that operates at the BU level, right?
So, yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So we have two things, right? So one is that the single payment, and the second one is the batch payment. So single payment runs at the business unit level, okay? And this batch payment, if you see, so this is not pertaining to a single business unit, because we will not have even the option of giving the business unit in the batch payment screen. So it runs basically based on the combinations that we generate. Because if I want to filter it with a particular business unit, or a particular legal entity, or particular currency, or the particular source, that I can give it. But in terms of this thing, single payment, so yes, it is at the business unit level.
So how the data how is the data segregation happens for the payments here? So
So
do I have to control it like data access it something like ledger level, or how do I do this?
yeah, so here if you see, so the first control is the role that we are giving it to the user, okay? Because here I'll not give access to all the roles. So this is first control, and the second control is that, so if I'm running for, let's say, legal entity one, so under this, so I might have created this bank account. So if I'm trying to select it for the other bank account, so I'll not even get it in the list. So which means that, so this for this particular bank account, so I'll need access for this particular business unit. So this is how basically we are controlling. So that is one at the bank account access level, and the second one is at the role-based access control.
So once I create the bank account, so I give access to the business unit. So
Correct.
depending upon if I select like a Citibank during my payment, that's what my disbursement of the cash goes off.
Yeah.
So all the transactions available in the given BU will be available for me to select the invoices and
Correct.
make the payment. Got it, got it.
Okay.
So where do I
Okay.
define the bank account? Is it in the payment module?
Yeah, bank account, it is in the cash management. I mean, we can see,
Hmm.
not an issue.
Okay.
Okay. Or else maybe I'll just show this one first. So bank and branch, we don't have much. So it's just the name
Mm.
that we're giving. So
Yeah,
it is
yeah, that will
city.
be globally defined. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'll just take this one, 869. Okay, so here, first thing if you see, so this is at the legal entity. So now if
Mhm.
I am running this with access of, let's say, US Business Unit 1, US 1 Business Unit, or the Supremo. So these business units comes under this legal entity, so I'll not have any issue. So let's say I'm running it for Australia or the other
1 minute.
business unit.
So you that's a okay. There's a tab called business unit access.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's at both the levels. So the first thing comes as the legal entity, and second thing is the business unit access, and third thing is that security at the role level, role or the user I can give. So these are the users or the roles that we have access to. So here we did not add the role, but then I can even add at the role level also. So let's say I wanted to give access only to this particular role or the user who has this. So I can give this role. So I do not have any custom role, but then if I want to give, so I can give this as role.
What is the role that you give access to a bank account? We usually give access to the users, right?
Yeah, so for this one, so for creating the bank or the bank account, so we will get this option as part of this accounts payable manager. And apart from that, we also have this cash manager. So sorry, so which will also have access to create the bank accounts. So there are two roles for this.
Mm-hmm. So creation of bank account is what we're talking about the role, right?
Correct.
Because here we don't even do any addition. I mean only the edit that I can do it is add and eliminate the users, right? Other than that,
Yeah.
pretty much it is all one time whatever we give it here in this bank account
Correct.
definition.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll not be able to remove also. So if I want, I'll have to only end it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Got it. And how about the controls? What is there in the tab control?
Yeah, controls are, it is again the same like EBS. So wherein we have certain transaction creation and the
Mm-hmm,
matching
mm-hmm,
rules and
mm-hmm,
then the tolerance, all those
mm-hmm.
options.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So the le-
So
so so the legal entity has a much higher role in Fusion, right? Uh,
correct.
it's not so legal entity will be like where you have your payment or a payroll run will have that legal entity because it if I if for example if there is a private limited and it has multiple banks,
Yeah.
then how do I do it at each bank? If I have I create a legal entity and then I associate all the banks to one legal entity if I have it, right?
Sorry, come again. So you have, let's say you have two
No, I
bank
lost my
accounts.
question. I lost my question. Arun. You go ahead. And once I get that,
Okay.
I lost my
Okay.
question somewhere. Yes, sorry.
Okay. No issues. Okay. Uh, so the first thing is that the payment method, because I'll have to specify whether this is electronic fund transfer or whether this is check payment or this is NEFT,
Uh, yeah.
RTGS. So that Yeah, so that's the payment method that we are saying here. Okay. So now for the check payment, so this will be in the printed format. So for the printed format, so we have a separate process to run this printing thing, because the printing, it is the same process wherein I will have the format. So this is similar to the payment file, but then this file, this is not been sent to the bank, but then this format is used to print the checks. So there could be two possibilities. So I can just take this check leaf and I can write and give the signature. So the other possibility is that, so I probably do 100 or 200 checks in a day. So I don't want to do this as a manual option. So since I have Oracle system in place, so I want system to do this. So I will create this as a format. So this is the format. So I will capture certain information from the tables. So that is payable is from what do you call the vendor name. So that is from the payments table. So I'll take the vendor, and then the amount column, I'll take the amount. And based on the amount that is captured, so I'll have to use a function to write in words. Okay. So once this is done, so I'll have to take this digital signature and do this thing. Okay, so this is one thing. And to print this, I'll not be able to use the local printer. So this is mandated by Oracle. So if I want to use this check printing option, so I'll have to use this cloud printer. So wherein I'll have to do this whitelisting along with the Oracle. So I'll have to raise this service request and complete this activity. So once these activities are completed, so I can do this check printing. Okay, so this is the option. So this is for the printed checks that we are talking about. So apart from the printed checks, so I
So
also
what is
can
cloud
use,
printing? What is cloud printing, Arun? It's just not directly.
so
Like once I get the output, I can give it like a
yeah,
print from the job. It will not get printed.
yeah, that will not get printed, because here
Oh.
if you see, So I will have to have IP address for my printer, and this IP address must be linked with Oracle server, and thus that is how basically this data, that is the supplier payment amount and all those informations are captured, and this is printed in the checklist.
How different it is, right? See, for the format of the check layout, what if I
Oh,
have it, and then like is there is a job like a yeah, like we have accounts payable, so many standard programs, right? So once that I run like the same program, once that I run, I go see the output, I can go print it, right? Which if I get connected to a printer, then it should print,
okay.
right? So so will this be now, how different is it from check printing, right? It's because for check printing, obviously it is all they will connect to one particular printer. So which I can actually get connected, the users can get connected to that printer, and then they can print a check. And if they wanted to go get some statement of the payable, some suppliers or payment statements, they get the same output in the job output file, they go get it print, right? So how different it is?
Yeah, so the in terms of downloading the file and sending it to the printer file, so this process is same. So now this printing the check, so if I wanted to pick this supplier details and the payment information, so that is picked up from the cloud server. So that's the reason Oracle is suggesting to do the whitelisting and then do it. Because if I do it in a local system, so let's say I have my payment file in the system, so which is in the PDF format. So now if I just save this file in my local system and I just say print, because locally I have connected with my PC with the wired connection. So
Mm-hmm.
now if I say print, so there is this layout changes that is coming. So exactly it is not getting printed in the same format. So let's say that, so kind of on 1 centimeter or 2 centimeter, it is going up and down. So it's not in the exact format that we want. So that's what I observed personally. And then we had a call with Oracle, and then we went with this cloud whitelisting basically.
What is whitelisting, cloud whitelisting? Is that a
So
technology
whitelisting
or?
is nothing but this on the, I mean, registering our IP address with Oracle.
Oh,
So we
okay,
have
okay.
this, yeah, we have this printer, and for this we got this